For those of you who think Jesus is always very lovey-dovey, let me introduce you to the tough Jesus today. He says, follow me, and you say, first of all, let me go back and bury my father, my dead father. Let the dead bury the dead. What an answer. What an answer. Seems rude to me. It's language. It's the Bible language. There's a lot of code stuff. There's a lot of ways of saying things that are meant to make us very uncomfortable, and this one is one of those. In all of the passage here, Jesus is saying, follow me with all your heart. Now, there's two ways basically to follow him, or anyone for that matter. You can follow with your feet, and you can follow with your heart. When I got here to the parish, I was given a book. You've heard me say some of this, but I'm going to repeat it. The book was given to me by Bishop Wilkerson, and it was called Forming Intentional Disciples by Sherry Waddell. And Sherry says in it that there are 5 stages to faith. And in the first chapter, she gives the data that's true not only of the Catholic Church, but most all churches, even the Jewish faith, I'm sure, and the Muslims, all. There are people that just celebrate the high holy days, that's all. Or they're cultural Jews. They identify with being a Jew, but they don't go to the synagogue. About 23% of Catholics who are baptized come to church. 77% do not. So that means in a family of 10 here, 3 probably go to church and 7 don't, eventually. And I hear this complaint all the time. People say, I sent my to Catholic school, Catholic high school, even Catholic college. I paid a fortune, and none of them go to Mass anymore. What's wrong with those schools? I would propose to you, it's probably not the school. It's probably not the school. It's very hard, and it's not even important to try to lay blame. And they may be very good people, very loving people. They may love God very much. They may be better at loving God than we who come to church. But why don't they come? And it has to do with these stages of faith, I think. The first stage, she says, is the stage of trust. So here's my neighbor. And I trust her very much. She's a great neighbor. I don't know a lot about her personal life, but I observe her a lot, and I notice that every Sunday she leaves around 10, comes back home about 12, and she's smiling and humming and singing and just all joyful. So one day I finally say, what on earth do you do it from 10 to 12 that brings you home like this? And you say, I go to St. Bernard's Church. I love it. I love it. It fills me, nourishes me. Really? So because I trust her, I say to myself, I'm going to go check it out. Now, this is an important stage for the community that's here. Because if this person comes in and gets greeted warmly, hello, I've never seen you before. You're here. Oh, your first time? Welcome, welcome. And feels welcomed and feels the warmth of the community, they'll probably come back. But if nobody greets them, nobody looks at them, they may say, what a cold community. So you should be greeting everybody. And if you don't, you're chasing people away. How do you like that? Warmly greet people. So I come for this first Sunday, and I feel the warmth of the community, and I say, move to the second stage real fast. I'm curious. I want to check this place out deeply. So I start coming every week. I go to some of the extracurricular things. I go to a Bible study. I sit by the choir and start to sing with them more. And I just start immersing myself in the community. And if I really, really get touched, I can move to the third stage. And this, by the way, is one the church is most interested in, probably stops there for the most part. This is called membership. So I say, I want to belong fully. What do I have to do? I have to give my sacraments? Okay, so I get baptized, confirmed, Eucharist. I come every Sunday, and of course I give the envelope. That's full membership, okay? Supporting my church. I come faithfully. And that's 23%. That's most of us who are here every Sunday. Only 23% of the whole community of faith baptized Christian Catholics, but we come faithfully. Jesus didn't ask for that. Sure, it would be pleasing. The next stage, I've been doing this for years coming, and Father Perry one day gets up and says, we need some Eucharistic ministers. So I say, I think I'll sign up. I want to do something for others. So I begin to serve. That's 1% of the 23%. So the 23% that come faithfully, let's make 100% of the 23%, 1% serves. I mean, look around. How many ushers do we have? Choir? Servers? A lot more youth than here. And sometimes we only get 1 or 2 servers. We had 2 today, right? We had 1 when we started. Thank you. 1% serves. Now, I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just saying that's the reality. The next stage is the stage that Jesus is after. Follow me. Be my disciple. Follow me. Be my disciple. Now, be careful. Be careful. Have you ever seen in a movie people come into the jungle and they discover a cave and it's kind of all blocked over, but as they pull away some trees, now they want to go in and investigate, but there's a dead person's skull there. Their skull. You going to go in? If you're nuts. I wouldn't. I'd say, wait a minute. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Well, Jesus says, come follow me. That's nice. First reading we hear Elijah saying it to Elisha, and the way he did it, he didn't say, come follow me. He takes off his cape, and he goes by and drops it over his body and keeps walking. And that was the way of calling a person to follow you as prophet. So he gets up and follows him. Says, let me say goodbye to my parents, and then he follows. And being a prophet is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing telling people, you sinners, you better change your life, or, whew. And they often put them in exile, often killed them. People did not like the call of being a prophet. Jesus said, come follow me. Well, let me go bury my father. He died. Let the dead bury the dead. And he's saying, listen, to follow and be my disciple means following with all your heart, just so you know. You come to the cave and see a skull, you're giving everything. Now, how do I know that? Well, when I came here, I love this building. It's the first church I've been in my 40 years that no pillars or anything blocking any view of the sanctuary. It's wonderful. The one thing I didn't care for all that much was that. I like the statue. I just don't like it there. Don't worry, I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to move it. Priests, no. You move a statue and you might get crucified yourself. You might. I'm not going to touch it. But I prefer the cross there. And the reason is, it's the cross that tells the story of what it means to be a Christian. I mean, think of it. Every time we pray, we mark ourselves with the cross. We take that skull out and look at it. Don't enter. But I have to. I want to follow the Lord. And that means I mark my life with the cross again and again and again. Every day. We heard it last week. Pick up your cross daily and follow me. To be a Christian means that I want to follow Jesus all the way to the cross. And when you look up at that cross, it is not a pretty sight. There's a half-naked man, bloodied, bruised, sticking in his head. He's nailed to it until the last drop of blood flows out of his body. He says, follow me. Come on. So we can follow with the feet. Not even 77% do that. But there is something more. And the cross isn't an end in itself. It's through the cross that amazing things happen. You know, every day as we deal with the cross in our lives, and it's not the physical sufferings, although those are crosses too, because physical suffering can make us really angry and bitter and feel like a victim, or we can embrace our suffering and pain and walk through it. We can understand perhaps this suffering and pain, not good in itself, can produce a lot of good, make us more compassionate, loving people, more understanding. I know that when I got my hips redone, not for beauty's sake or anything, they hurt a lot, and I got 2 new hips, and I don't like the fact that I have phony hips. They popped out 3 times. I prayed for death those moments. It was awful. But I got these phony hips. I'll tell you what it did to me. It made me a lot more compassionate for anyone with a walker, anyone with a cane, anyone with crutches, anyone an amputee. I don't understand all that they're going through, but I've been there, and I say, wow. And I am pretty lucky to be walking. Nobody would even know that I have phony hips. It's amazing what struggles and suffering can do. But maybe even harder are all the things that we call the rejections of life, where we've loved and given of ourselves and people don't give back, just take. Or they actually reject us, put us down, talk ill of us. And those things often hurt. So my neighbor that I used to like, I liked her all the way until last Saturday when she said the meanest thing possible to me. And I said, I'll never forgive her. And then I had a change of heart and I forgave because, well, Jesus said I should. And then the very next day she does it again. I learned something as a little boy. Hurt me once, shame on you. Hurt me twice, shame on me. It'll never happen again. You know why? Because you are out like a light. You're out of my life. Off my Christmas list. Forget it. That's not what Jesus would do. And right there, Jesus says, follow me. How do we love those who hate us, who persecute us? I mean, the cross is the answer. There he is hanging there, losing every drop of blood in his body, in pain and total rejection, and he has the nerve, whatever, to say, Father, forgive them all, they know not what they do. And he models, I would say, perfectly everything he taught about forgiveness, compassion, and love. And that cross did not make him a victim. It did not make him afraid. It did not make him hate. Through the cross, he found even more love and even more forgiveness within his spirit. That's the payoff. That's it. So when he says, let the dead bury the dead, you want to go kiss your parents goodbye. It was okay in the first dream, but you're going to go kiss your parents. Anyone who looks back isn't fit for the kingdom of God. The language is tough because the challenge is tough to really be a disciple of Jesus Christ. But the invitation is there because through it, so much comes into our lives. We can become a people who are more compassionate and forgiving and loving and giving and serving, a people who come to discover what life really is about. Now, I told you that only 1%, let me up it to 2. I'll do a 100% increase. 2%, 2 out of 100 serve in the church. Here's how it works. I did just a couple weeks ago, all the masses, I said, we need some Eucharistic ministers. I did it for 2 weeks in a row. We need some Eucharistic ministers at every Mass. If you come to Mass regularly and receive communion, please sign up. And we'll train you how to do it. And this is what I see in faces. Ooh, no. And I know why. If I do this for Father Perry, he's going to start asking a whole bunch of other things too. My life is lost. I'm saying no. But what really happens is the opposite. A person dips their toe into service. They say, wow, this is really nice. Most Eucharistic ministers have been ministers for years. Agnes, how many years Eucharistic minister to the sick? 25 or more? Why do you do it? I like it. I like leaving my home and my schedule and the things that I'm doing and the work I have to get done, stopping everything so that I can go bring Christ to somebody who's sick. I like it. And quite frankly, anyone who does service, they at some point begin to feel a little selfish. I like it so much. Why? I don't want to give this up. Love it. Jesus uses strong language today because sometimes strong language seems to be the only thing that works. Only thing that works. He's making a point. Not literally, but he's making a point. Genuine discipleship means giving the whole heart. And I guess he would say, a lot of people follow me with their feet. I mean, the crowds follow me everywhere. How many became true disciples? There's the call, there's the invitation, and there's the gift of life.